Let's discuss this presidential race with a guest from Irvine, California, Professor Paul Sheldon Foote. He's joining me via Skype from California State University. Professor, let's talk about the voter turnout of this year's election. I mean, what is your impression of voter turnout this year, despite propaganda about the country not administrating democracy?
Oh, it's excellent. It's beyond anything we see in presidential elections in America. I wish we had the same thing here. There's been excitement for days. My Iranian wife is in Iran. She voted there, and she told me for many nights in the streets, people were out excited, driving around, walking around, excited about an election. I haven't seen that here. I'd love to see some of that imported into America.
Well, I mean, how do you compare elections in Iran and the United States in terms of democracy?
Well, the approaches are very different. In America, you have a small number of media networks that have the big microphones, and they can limit who can speak. We claim to have freedom of speech. It's true that you can post anything you want on the internet, but a small number of people are going to see it. Unfortunately, most voters are stupid enough to keep depending on the major news channels and believing what they see there. In the last election, Ron Paul, Republican, was even excluded from some of the Republican debates and was not permitted to be interviewed on some of the major media. So we certainly have our problems, and unfortunately many voters are not even paying attention to these problems in America.
Indeed. I mean, what about voter turnout in the United States?
Oh, voter turnout in a presidential race is around 50%, and in anything other than a presidential race, it drops down very significantly. If you're doing city council or state assembly, those kind of things, you could be down 10, 20, 30% only, very small turnouts.
Well, I mean, how do you explain such unwillingness to take part?
Ignorance and belief that the two parties are very similar and that there won't be much impact either way, that regardless of who's in, the same basic interests will be served.
Indeed. Well, we'll leave it there for the time being. Professor Paul Sheldon Foote joining us from Irvine, California, for his thoughts about Iran's presidential election. Thanks for your time there, sir.